Take you to KZN now because South Africa's first Democratic Minister of Education will be honoured in a memorial service in Eshowe. Professor Sibusiso Bengu will be offered an official funeral Category 2 tomorrow at the University of Zululand. Bengu died at the age of 90 at his home in Mtunzini last month. Watching developments around the memorial service is SABC News Reporter Ntlantla Kgatlhane, who joins us now live from Eshowe. And my goodness, Ntlantla, what a career this has been with so many credentials. For one, the late Prof had a PhD from the University of Geneva. I imagine it's a lot of these sentiments that are going to be ventilated there today.
Well, thanks so much, Ayanda. Well, indeed, coming to you right here from Eshowe, well, in KZN, an ordinary man, credential-wise, as you said there, not just a person who just, dedicated his time in fighting for the liberation of the country, but like you alluded to there, saying that the first black minister of education and also the first black vice-chancellor, amongst his credentials, a political scientist, like you already said there, Ayanda, a person who, dedicated time to be a scholar with regards to, politics. But one thing interesting, Ayanda, is the role that he played. I mean, for him to be trusted at that particular time by the then late president of, the country, Nelson Mandela, saying that he, or rather choosing him as the first Minister of Education speaks volume. But with me here, I'm with one of the person that, knew him very well, Reverend Kulu. Reverend, thank you so much. We are talking about the person that you knew personally. As we know him as this, political being, as a former minister. Talk to us about the kind of person he was. We know that he loved the church.
He was so humble, and he was not reserved, but he was so humble, with a smile, and he could affect any. He was very contagious, that when he smiles, you feel like smiling too. I know him very well because I stayed at their house while his father was a chaplain at Mtunzini hospital. And coincidentally, my father too was a minister in the Bundus where there was no secondary school. So I had to put up with them. I stayed with them, with the parents, Baba, Chekonia, Reverend Chekonia Bengu, and his wife, Augusto Mamkunu. And they were like my parents. Our intimacy was very good, and they taught me how to bake and so on.
When was the last time you saw him? I mean, we've interacted with a couple of people and they spoke about his personality, saying that he was forever smiling. What kind of person was he, except from, the cameras and everything?
The cameras. He was a principled man, and whenever there was when people were making a noise and so on, he would remain very calm, like dynamite in a small bag. That is what he was.
A dynamite in a small bag. You, together with the family, for the memorial, the first part is going to be private. Just talk to us with regards to that.
The first private. The private session is when we are praying to God. It's a time of worship. It's a time of self-dispensing, that God can, so that God can cleanse us. And this is what they call liturgy, which is the way we worship. And there are prayers there, and today I understand that we'll also have Eucharist. And what we are doing, we are not doing it for the departed late Professor Bengu, but for our own edification and the family. And we remember him, and we say all the things that we know about him, those good things that will help people to grow, and because we remember them, because in Proverbs 10 verse 7 it says in Zulu, ukukhunjulwa kolungileyo kubusisekile. The remembrance of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked perishes. So that's why we remember them. And we'll also be involved in saying the creed. In the creed, in the third article, where it says, I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Church, Holy Universal Church, and the communion of saints, because death is not going to separate us from Sibusiso. We are linked together through the Holy Spirit, and we form what we call a communion of saints, the living. We are the living, and we are said to be the militant church. But they that have gone before us are the triumphant church.
Well, thank you so much, Reverend. And that was Reverend Punu there talking to us about what's going to be happening and the kind of person a professor was. You know, earlier when I spoke to him, he even alluded to it. They're saying that quiet, a dynamite in small package, and saying that he used to smile despite his credentials, saying that he loved the church and the family, you know, announcing there that today the first part of the memorial is going to be private. Then we will definitely be allowed to come in after that private session takes place.
Yeah, the Reverend there taking us back to Sunday school with some good dose of theology and catechism. Ntlantla Kgatlhane, thanks very much indeed. Left us there from Eshowe. Of course, we'll continue getting you the rest of the tributes as they continue to pour in throughout the course of the morning.